Speaking of movie rentals, kind of, namely speaking of video on demand, how many of you are excited for the film Tower Heist with Ben Stiller and Eddie Murphy? Nobody. Neither am I. That's okay. Uh, and that's a good thing because the rate things are going, you might never get a chance to see it in theaters because the studio um, who released Tower Heist, I believe it's um, I don't know, I don't care. Um, they've got this weird marketing plan where they're going to release Tower Heist on video on demand at Comcast 3 weeks after it hits theaters,
Hmm.
which seems really dumb.
What are they trying to achieve there?
I don't know. Now, technically, this is only for Comcast subscribers in Portland, Oregon, and Atlanta, Georgia, which is like weird. I guess I don't know. That's like the biggest demographic of Tower Heist fans.
I look
Um,
forward to them loading it onto YouTube.
yeah. No, no shitty flip cam recording for us. Here's the actual burnt DVD of it. Um, Anyway, theaters are not pleased about this, and several theaters have boycotted the film, including Cinemark and now National Amusements, as well as several independents. Um,
Marcus Theaters, which is what we have a lot of over in Wisconsin, uh, is tends to be pretty no nonsense about things like that, and it won't show movies that it doesn't anticipate are going to do good. So yeah, I have a feeling they might join that group pretty quick.
and here's the thing about the VOD rental. It's $30. Like, if someone is really that desperate to see Tower Heist, um,
There's no hope for them at all.
there is no hope. You could either pay like 3 times the theater amount, or you could go out of state to find a theater that's playing it.
It just made me so sad to realize that your description of how much it would cost is accurate. 3 times as much as it would be to watch it in the theater. Yeah, they're approaching $8. It hit me like a sledgehammer just then. Anyway,
Yeah. Buying the DVD would probably be at its release would probably be $20. That's to own the movie, not rent it digitally. And that DVD will probably end up in the $5 bin at Walmart in about a year and a half. So,
yesterday I checked out a Walmart that had been recently expanded near my house, and There's a movie. Oh, in fact, yes, it was the Bed That Eats. It was in a multi pack, and I saw that. That's what I was thinking about when you said Bed That Eats. They got some weird movies in their $5 bin.
they do. Um, I haven't looked in one recently, but I found uh,
Oh,
one day.
where the red fern grows too. That's what I was thinking of. Oh, I was like, what? No, this will not stand. Anyway,
I gotta see that just to see if they kill 2 more dogs.
no, that's what I was thinking. The grandfather apparently gets it for the guy after he comes back from World War II, and I didn't think it was placed that late. But anyway, yeah, and to like calm his nerves or something, and I'm like, no, flashbacks, worst flashbacks than World War II. Anyway,
Yeah.
Whenever I look in a low price bin like that, I always feel like I'm going temporarily hipster.
there's a little bit of a hipster in all of us.
Where else am I
So,
gonna get copies of Big Top Pee Wee and the Adventures of Milo and Otis?
yeah, I like that.
Milo and Otis?
Milo notice.
Yeah.
I remember really liking it when I was a
Right.
kid, but I rewatched it like only a few years ago, and yeah. Don't revisit your childhood unless you're prepared to take a little disappointment.
Mm. And don't visit your childhood unless you're prepared to watch accurate videos of dogs and cats giving birth.
Oh dear
Then
God.
Report on
that
it until it sneezes. That was disturbing.
apparently there are unconfirmed abuses reports of animal abuse on the set of Milo Knows, but nothing's been confirmed on that. Um, speaking of bad things about movies, apparently one of the worst things that could happen is the film Drive not being like The Fast and the Furious.
Uh-huh.
That is such an awful thing that a woman is actually attempting to sue the studio for that exact reason. Apparently, she felt that this Detroit woman felt that the advertisements for the film Drive, which I can attest is definitely not like The Fast and the Furious. It's a very slow, very very quiet film. Um, it is anyway. She felt that the advertising uh, presented a more action-packed, serious film than the film actually was, and so she's suing the studio.
So there've been like a
Do it
million.
for the Bridge to Terabithia trailer. Why bother?
There've been a million films that they have made their films look more exciting or more funny or more scary or more romantic or more this or more that than the films that are actually are, and she's going to try to sue them for that.
Hmm. She actually found a lawyer to represent her. Apparently, uh, apparently, the lawyer is using the gateway excuse of that the film dehumanizes Jewish people, and there is a Jewish villain in Drive, but it's not dehumanizing. Um, but I think that's just a an excuse to give the case a bit more legitimacy. The fact that this woman was disappointed that her Drive was not like Fast Five, that is the main reason she's suing.
Hmm.
Well, I've seen everything.
Sometimes, as Captain Picard said,
You actually, it's like the first time you've broken up. Didn't I say that again?
sometimes you have to bow to the absurd, as Captain Picard said.
Yes. So,
Now I've been hearing a lot about Real Steel.
yeah.
Um, is there any? What I heard about it, the most straightforward thing was that it was basically Rocky with robots. Has
Hmm.
anyone actually seen it?
I have not. No.
Well, it's
Does
had
anyone
some
want
of
to
the
see it?
most hilarious commercials ever. All these
It
critic quotes just praising it as the next Rocky or the next the champ, and they're all playing over this incredibly stupid-looking robot movie.
Hmm.
actually, this is
And
another hint that
Evangeline
we're in the
Lilly's in
future.
it.
This is another hint that we're in the future because now our Rocky sequels have robots.
There you go.
That's perfect. And an old Rocky, obviously. But anyway,
Well, that's what the woman should be suing Drive over the fact that they don't use hover cars. Speaking of films in the theaters, this week saw uh, two remakes of two very beloved '80s classics. Remake and a kind of remake, kind of prequel. We have Footloose and The Thing.
oh, the thing's already come out.
Thing came out Friday.
Ah, what am I doing here for? Anyway, I'll be seeing that. I figure because although it does look pretty standard and CG heavy, it does look like they're at least trying a few interesting creative things here and there.
Now you say CG. I think I think one of the main things that I'm about to say the original thing, but the 1980s thing was a remake too. Um, the thing about the 1980s thing was the prosthetics and the physical special effects. My dad actually went to high school with the guy who did the effects in the 1980s thing. The thing,
Wow.
Rob
Rob
Bottin?
Bottin. What was
What
that?
was that, Ryan?
Rob Bottin, I always thought it was.
Well, my dad always calls him Rob Bottin, so I don't know. Maybe he passed down his mispronoun. My maybe I get all my mispronunciation issues from him. Yeah.
I
I'll
think
kind
the
of.
fact that they're I think the fact that they're making it a prequel is just their way of tiptoeing around the fact that they probably would have preferred a remake, but would have gotten so much hate for doing it.
That's
That's
a good thought.
probably very accurate, actually.
Which, and yeah, I applaud them then for approaching it from that direction. There's nothing against making a prequel except for that I got the impression from the not original but previous movie that it was a pretty quick thing that happened to the original group. That doesn't actually make sense out of context, but in the movie, there's a group that died first, and yeah, that's where everything starts with the next group, which are our protagonists in the '80s version. I'm still not coherent. Anyway,
Yeah. The Matthew Elizabeth Weinstein is in it instead. I don't know. The girl from Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, she's always good.
Yeah. To how old is she? Huh.
as for Footloose, I bring up Footloose because I never even saw the original. Is there any reason to think it would or would not work, especially?
Well, I
Well,
think like it would. I can kind of see that movie working in the '80s because there's no internet and I think there's no Walkmans. But setting it now, how is this no music rule supposed to function?
I, I don't. I honestly know very little about the Footloose remake. I think I don't know if it's is it set in modern times?
Yeah,
It's set in modern. Yeah, that I've lived in small town America for most of my high school years, and I've seen city councils try to stamp down some behavior. I've seen curfews, but a no music thing. Yeah, that doesn't really work in any kind of modern day setting. Um, yeah, and in it kind of back in when the original Footloose was around, there was the whole there was a lot of I guess you could say there was a decent amount of religious censorship. The whole you know how every year or so we celebrate banned books. We didn't do that back then. Books got banned. Um,
Though I
you
think
know,
there were, I think it, the, well, yeah, groups being against censorship, of course, even people being opposed to censorship in general. I just don't think it had been quite institutionalized.
well, I think Ryan pretty much hit it. That this is Footloose can only really work in a pre-internet universe.
Mm.
I've heard that it's pretty much a scene for scene redo,
Oh, great! That means more
so you don't have to watch
tractor
it.
jousting.
Well, it's a bus race now,
Oh, it's a bus race.
school bus
Did
race.
Did you see it, or did you just
No,
see trailers?
I've seen reviews.
Oh, I see.
I don't think any of that stuff matters because, the main character is just so hot, right, guys?
Yeah. Who's that?
Dennis
But
Quaid
on
in
the
what-
internet now, just to see.